Gabriele Boucher was one of many Davos, Switzerland 2022 World Economic Forum guest speakers. Gabriele is the executive director of Oxfam International. If you wish to read the rest of the text, please pause the video and do so. Observe one of the World Economic Forum's Instagram account posts about Gabriele. She was one of many panel speakers who was interviewed at the World Economic Forum on May 23, 2022. Oxfam International published an article called Profiting from Pain on May 23, 2022. If you want to read the entire article, please refer to the description section of this video where I provide the link along with all my other references. I'm going to read a short excerpt from the article. The brief shows that 573 people became new billionaires during the pandemic at the rate of 1 every 30 hours. We expect this year that 263 million more people will crash into extreme poverty at a rate of 1 million people every 33 hours. Billionaires' wealth has risen more in the first 24 months of Beer-19 than in 23 years combined. The total wealth of the world's billionaires is now equivalent to 13.9% of global GDP. This is a threefold increase, up from 4.4% in 2000. The acronym GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. Check out the World Economic Forum's logo. I was a bit shocked how two people on the panel mentioned Operation Warp Speed during the discussion.
There are 1 million people who fall below the poverty line, extreme poverty, and I think maybe in 2020 alone we added 125 million people to the ranks of the extreme poor. And maybe how far has COVID set back our efforts, our sort of fight against poverty? And what would you say is the key thing that can be done about it in the short term and maybe in the longer term?
Yes, thank
Start
you
with
for the
you.
question. Yes, so the rise in billionaires has been, unprecedented during the pandemic, and there's been several sectors where that has been mostly concentrated, and one is in fact the pharma sector, because COVID has been one of the most profitable products ever. So that's one point to discuss, and our report out today is called Profiting from Pain, how those delays in making this technology available and really having people vaccinated early has contributed to that.
Moderna Therapeutics Chief Executive Officer Stefan Bancel complimented Operation Warp Speed at the 40 minutes and 24 seconds mark of the video. I think the US government did an amazing job with Operation Warp Speed and Monsef and the team to find 6 companies to do 6 jabs that we basically used for the planet. Jeremy Farrar, the head director and medical researcher of Wellcome Trust, complimented Operation Warp Speed at the 41 minutes and 49 seconds mark of the video. If you'd financed stuff early in May of 2020 and said we're going to do this at risk, as Warp Speed did to some degree, you'll be much better off in the long term. Otherwise, you'll pay more later, and you'll have a lesser effect. Trump, the monster responsible for Operation Warp Speed. Psalm 73, verse 12. Behold, these are the ungodly, who prosper in the world, they increase in riches. Proverbs 28, verse 22. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. Isaiah 5, verse 14. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth, shall descend into it. Revelation 18, verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.